Well, hello everyone and welcome back to Painting Manta. So, before we get started, we are going to go over, I whacked it, I'm sorry. We are going to go over all the materials that you are going to need, or at least the materials I'm using. So, let's get this stuff out of the way. I'll start off by showing you the paint colors that I'm going to use for the main train. This is going to be the main color, this cobalt hue. I got this from Hobby Lobby. Then from my kit from Artist's Loft, we are going to be using this phthalo blue, this blue light, silver, titanium white, violet light blue, this cerulean blue, and this light magenta. Then our wheel colors are going to be some combination of silver, gray, unbleached titanium, and some burnt sienna. Now, I'm not yet set fully on what I'm using for the stand, but I do know I'm going to need Mars black. And then for the logo, I was thinking I would mix together blue light and this phthalo blue. And then I was thinking I might use this light magenta for the stand color because it's going to be an accent color on the train. Let's get into what other supplies you'll need. Let's talk painting supplies. You're going to need a cup of water. Ignore the speed up cup. This is all nail polish from Nail Art. You'll need a paper towel, which I have not yet grabbed. And of course, you're going to need paintbrushes. I'm going to be using two different kits. I'm going to be using this new one I just bought of a lot of really tiny brushes. This is from Hobby Lobby. It was literally like $3.50. Like, seriously, this is a great deal. But it's got a lot of these really tiny brushes, so hopefully I don't have to keep using my nail art brushes. We will see. And then I'll be using the set that I have been using from Artist's Loft for a while on these, which, this is Remnants of Painting Cliffhanger. And this brings me to the next thing I got. I got these spots to actually put the paint other than here. So that problem is solved. I definitely would recommend that you do this. That is going to be all the supplies that you're going to need. So let's get painting. So the first step is we are going to go ahead and paint the back of this piece entirely in this cobalt hue. Now, to be painting, this does mean, since I don't want to get the paint all over my desk, that it is time to break back out my silicone nail art mat, of which I've not really cleaned anytime recently, so I'm just going to be painting on the back of it so you don't have to see that. Right here, back of it's, okay, well the mat's a little see-through, not what I was hoping, but you know what, it's fine. So let's get into painting the back of this piece. Now, I will say, if you choose to paint it in this particular order, this does have the issue that this piece is going to be attaching onto another. So some of this isn't going to be visible, and then when I attach everything in here, I am going to have to paint that, but this is just the easiest way for me personally to do this. I'm going to go ahead and do the edges now. So I'm gonna let this guy dry, but in the meantime, I'm gonna whack my phone, but I'm gonna go ahead and also paint the backs of these seats to just get these out of the way. I'm not gonna be painting these pieces. I'm gonna be painting like the actual seat. This part is gonna be silver. So now that I've finished painting the outlines of the seats and the bottoms, I'm gonna go ahead and get some of these individual pieces if I can hold them. These are like the little leg restraints, stuff like that, that are just little tiny parts of the seats, that it's just gonna be a bit easier to paint them off of the seats. So it dawned on me immediately after painting these that I actually wanted them to be a slightly different color, so I did repaint them. I have not yet done this side though, but I am still going to use that cobalt hue underneath this paint because I think it delivers like the perfect color. The paint that I pulled out was the violet light blue to cover over that. So I'm going to do that blue and then continue on with varying pieces from the seats. So while all of these pieces are drying, I'm gonna go ahead and paint the backs, the seats, like, you know, here and stuff. And that's gonna be silver. I have a specific way I'm gonna do it. These seats are fairly interesting. So we're gonna see how I end up working this. I'm gonna have to go in with more blue, like to here. Yeah, it's a whole thing, but I'm waiting on that until I put on this part. So yeah, let's get going with the silver. I've now finished painting all of the pieces of the seats pretty much. I don't need to bother with this part because that part's gonna be hidden. So obviously some things are gonna still need paint. So what we're gonna do is just add the extra bits of paint and begin assembling seats. Like I'm gonna be painting this part blue, things like that, the final details that I was just waiting until I actually kind of had some level of mostly painted before I assembled. So we're gonna go ahead and get to that point. I have honestly spent way too much time on these seats and restraints. I am really excited that they are finally done. So now we're gonna move on to the wheel areas. For this project, I decided to save the actual really detailed body parts for last, even though I am going pretty wild on the detailing here. So let's move all this stuff out of the way and get started with the wheels, which do encompass a few incidental parts, like these guys, which I'm going to paint that same blue that I painted the seats. These guys, it's fairly difficult to find a whole lot of information on, but pretty much the entire thing just gets painted silver. based on what I can tell. It's hard to find a lot of good reference images, so let's get into it. I do apologize, my phone died while I was painting this, but it's nothing you hadn't really seen before, so yeah, sorry about that. But now we're gonna move on to painting the inner part of the wheels, like the silver, so yeah. Been a while since I have done anything on this, for the record. We just went on and finished painting some of those extra tiny little details. So it's time to finally get going on these big pieces. It was really difficult to find a reference image, but the actual train pieces here, the coupling, I guess, that's actually all painted blue. So pretty much the entire backside of this is just going to be painted in that cobalt color that we were using. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then go ahead and start doing all the detailing on these pieces. Okay, I'm so excited to finally be starting the main detailing in here. So, flipping it over, I've left this side of each blank. So, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and not start with these, and actually go ahead and do this piece first that we painted the back of earlier on. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this started. I'm gonna start in this case with the lighter colors because it's gonna be a lot easier. It's easier to make something darker than it is to make something lighter if I were to paint over the lines and stuff. So yes, we're gonna start with the lighter colors and then move into the darker colors. Okay, it's been a few months since I've updated, I'm sorry. I would like to address a few things. I have sunburn. Ignore my hand. Yeah, anyway, I need to stop procrastinating, so let's finally finish this thing. Okay, back into the time lapse. So to briefly describe what I have been doing, I have been blending all of these paints together just to try and make it look a little more seamless, just by having a tiny bit of paint and then just, yeah, trying to get it to go together. I don't know, it's a little hard to describe the probably not wonderful technique that I've been using. I do recommend, though, that if you're doing something like this, that maybe you might want to get like a magnifying glass or something. That would come in so handy, but I don't have one, so that would be why my head is appearing in the frame sometimes, because I keep leaning in. So yeah, let's go ahead and finally finish this thing. For the record, this takes quite a bit of time to do this kind of blending. I'd say it's taking me just to do like the white into that light blue 2 hours just for that one half. So it's been countless hours spent doing that. So yeah, back into it to finally finish the actual train. truly this looks better than I could have possibly imagined it would come out. So now it is finally time that we are going to finish assembling. We are going to need to probably do a bit of touch-up painting. So let's go ahead and move this beautiful masterpiece out of the way. I left off on step number, looks like it was 15. I'm looking at the instructions. Yeah, so I'm kind of doing like a mix of a few steps here. So we have to now work on putting all of the seats onto this. So that is what we're gonna go ahead and do. And then we're gonna be attaching that piece onto this piece, which I know is gonna need a little touch-up paint. So let's go on and do it. Okay, that was a little tricky because the paint makes it thicker and a bit more difficult. I would recommend that on these silver pieces that are here, as you can see, I need to paint the backs more, which is what I expect. Oh man. You can also see that I painted silver on the back of one of the seats. Yeah, things like this are gonna need like that touch-up paint, but yeah, on these little pieces that are kind of helping to hold in the restraints, I would probably recommend painting a little bit more of it than I did. I kind of didn't do part of it, and I think that it doesn't look that great on the very tippy tops. This guy is already supposed to be attached to this guy. Yeah, that probably would have been good to do before I put the seats on. I do know now we're finally going to be flipping this over and putting these on. It's going to be at this angle here. This goes right here. And then you want this end to be just facing like the outsides of your train. And then we're just gonna cap off the end, this end. So we're gonna need to touch-up paint this. Now it's time to go ahead and then fit the wheels on. Don't forget about these guys. I'm never done when I think I'm done. Yeah, I completely forgot about this circle here. So let's go ahead and get the paint on that. So here's the final step of the actual train assembly, and that is simply to put this part and all of this part together. was a bit of a difficult thing to do. I'd say like wiggling it around is the easiest thing. So now it's just time to go ahead and do the touch-ups, and then we'll be totally finished with this. As you can see here, somehow some of the silver paint got on this piece. So yeah, now is the fine-tuning time of this project. It's now that time. It is finally time to paint the stand. So we're gonna move this guy out of the way. And we're putting this guy in its place. We're gonna go ahead and start by just painting the black for all of the outline here before we go into the color. Okay, so as you can see, the black text is a little hard to see. What I am gonna do, I've decided, is I'm probably gonna be outlining that black text in the magenta that we used. And then I thought, you know, that could be really cool too, to outline all the edges of this in magenta, just to kind of make this a little bit more interesting. There's a really pretty lighter blue. We used it earlier, and I'm gonna put it here. So I'm gonna just kind of add a few random colors in just to make this a little bit more visually interesting. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Also, the colors that I decided to use to get the Manta color, I don't know if this color is perfect, but it's pretty enough. It was a mixture of blue light, turquoise, and then a little bit of brilliant blue, which is the color that I ended up using for this. So yeah, let's go ahead and get the accent colors done. And I am gonna do one more layer of the black as well, because I got a little bit of blue on it and it just needs to be a little darker. I cannot believe that I'm saying this, but we're actually finally done. So now it's time to go ahead and do the final step, which is to put the train on the stand. Also, my new mount for my phone has come in. So this is the new mount that I'm using now. So yeah, I'm actually zoomed in right now. Normally this isn't zoomed in. So let's zoom it out here. Check this out. How cool is this? Okay. I'm so scared of like messing something up while trying to do this. Okay. Yeah, it just goes in right there. That was way harder than it needed to be, but anyway, I finally got it fully attached. I really like how this came out. I think that this like crazy multicolored stand is actually kind of fun. This is definitely one of the more interesting coaster cutout projects that you can do, simply because it's, you know, really unique, fancy design. I think it leaves a lot of room for creativity, more so than necessarily some other ones. But also you have to make sure every bit of it looks as good as possible, simply because you can see all of it. With a lot of them, you know, you can't necessarily see the underside of the train, but this one, you know, nothing is left to the imagination. So I think that that makes this an extra unique project. And yeah, if you've done one of these flying coaster ones, let me know down below. I hope that you thought this was interesting. I have loved and hated the process of painting this. I am just amazed at the results, but yeah, I absolutely hated the amount of work that this was. So yes, I hope that you all enjoyed this. This was an awesome project.